first match, but don't get wound up about football. This is hopefully relaxing it. And as you may know, the idea is to try and get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're already now at 330, so thank you so much. Because we're going to start writing some ASMR specific works if we can get to 1,000. I should just clear my message. This is my new phone. It's actually an old phone, as you can see. It's got a 24-month guarantee. I had a new iPhone 14 Plus, and I had it for about 2 weeks, and it got stolen in Soho in London. My fault. But let me just move this out. It's my bus pass. That's how old I am. Free travel on the tubes. And then, oh yes, is this an Anorak's wallet or what? Yep, guess where this came from? Yeah, the Royal Shakespeare Company in Stratford-upon-Avon. And only an idiot like me would do it. My partner looked at me a bit aghast. She went, "You can't have that." I'd bought a similar, well, I hadn't got all this on, a wallet at the Edinburgh Fringe about 10 years ago, and it's completely fallen apart. So I was being a bit iconic when I got this. But it's got, enough space for all my stuff. And it's a picture of my partner. I won't embarrass her by showing you. Writers' Union card. Yeah, but look at that. Really? Othello, Henry V, Part 1, Hamlet, Macbeth, Much Ado About Nothing. It's all in the name for that play. Merchant of Venice and The Tempest. Excuse me, coughing a bit, I'm still a bit sniffly. But yeah, I got that a little while ago. It almost doesn't quite close, but it'll be alright. And then I thought I'd share this with you because I bought this from, it just arrived this afternoon. I haven't actually opened it yet, other than the serrations here of the plastic, of the cardboard packaging. But I thought I'd share it with you because there's a couple of very interesting books in here. Well, I think they're interesting. And they've come from a little press in London. So anyway, you'll see as we go. So open this up, and inside is the books, I should say. Oops, let me just get this out with a little message which we'll have a look at in a sec. Let's put that to one side. The cardboard, recycle that, of course. And I quite like the fact I did open this for once with my card. I know he's even got a Royal Shakespeare Company keyring. What sort of anorak is that? That's keys for my 22-year-old Renault. Don't use it that much now that we're in London, because we're so spoiled with tubes and buses and things. My friends in the Midlands always get a bit annoyed at me. Saying that. Move those out of the way. And then this little card from the press. Hoxton mini press. Hoxton, of course, is a place in East London, which you may know. And it says, "Apologies, this card is not handwritten. We used to do that, but then we actually started selling some books." Another problem, sort of. But we can assure you we are still a tiny team in Hackney. And Moose, the dog, still finds our books boring. We hope this card shows a little of our appreciation, Anne and Martin. And as you can see, hoxtonminipress.com. I'm sure they won't mind me sharing this with you on social media. In fact, they'd probably be very happy. All the social media thingy Bobby do wants it's Hoxton Mini Press. And they used to handwrite little cards with each purchase. They've got a little bit bigger than they used to be, but as I say, Hoxton is a part of the place in East London, which is interesting place. Kind of like much of East London, it's got fairly gentrified now. Because of course it's what happens, isn't it? The artists move in because the accommodation is cheap and affordable, and then people want to be with the artists, so all the property prices go up. Not just in London, I think that's the same the world over. So let's have a look. This is quite nice, and as I haven't opened this, I know what's inside, obviously, because I bought them. But I quite like the map of London, River Thames. East London here, Whitechapel Road, Hackney. This should be on there somewhere. London Fields is quite a nice part. Old Street, the Old Street roundabout. What did we used to call that? Silicon roundabout. Because obviously we haven't got Silicon Valley in London. But we've got there used to be a lot of tech startups around there. This, of course, is St Paul's, which is still a lovely place to see. And in fact, over the web, they've got it slightly wrong here, obviously, because it's only a drawing. Whitechapel Street. In fact, and this is East London now, of course, the Canary Wharf development, which popped up in the 70s, and a lot of the big corporates are down there. I've had 3 meetings down there with a mentor who was helping me start the business. I think I was about 45 and he was about 12, but it was one of the big banks, and he was very good, very kind. I also got a bit of a thrill. I think the sculpture that got in their reception, I won't mention which bank it was because it's not very fair, but the sculpture they got just in their reception, I think, was worth more than what we had earned in 20 years. But I loved going up into the top of Canary Wharf and looking out over London. It was quite an experience. And if you ever do get to London, St Paul's Cathedral, there's what we call now the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. It's called that because it's the Millennium Bridge. It's a footbridge, and when it first opened it was wibbling and wobbling, and they had to close it more or less straight away as soon as the first winds came, and they had to sort it out, redo it. But it is, if you come from St Paul's and you cross over the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge and sort of turn this way, you come down to not like here, Hackney Marshes, you come down to Shakespeare's Globe, which is a reconstruction of Shakespeare's first playhouse, where I actually worked for a short time some years ago. I was actually working for an American university called Rutgers. If you're in America, you might know of them. And I wasn't there with them for very long, although lots of lovely American acting students came over. I wasn't with them for too long because they really needed a stage manager. And those that know me know I'm not really a stage manager. The job was production manager, which I'm okay, but I'm not that technical. But they were very lovely, and I did like being there. The staff at the Shakespeare's Globe worked very hard. Excuse me. There's also quite a nice restaurant called the Swan, which is built as part of the Globe building. I think it's slightly separate now, but it's still there. Swan, it's quite a nice place for a couple of drinks and a nibble, perhaps. And it was built, actually, the Shakespeare's Globe was built by an American. It was the idea of an American called Sam Wanamaker. His daughter, Zoe Wanamaker, is British. I guess I don't know her nationality, but she's a British actor, popular British actor. And it's a real shame because Sam actually never saw it. It was his idea. It wasn't quite where Shakespeare's original Globe was because they couldn't build it there. But it's not far from where the original was. And poor old Sam never got to see the venue open. Mark Rylance, actor, known for Jerusalem on stage, and he was on Wolf Hall, I think. Was it Wolf Hall? Hilary Mantel's version of the book. He acted in that as well. He was their first artistic director. And the first Shakespeare adaptation I wrote, Henry V, Lion of England, they were talking about having it here at the Shakespeare's Globe. But I had a one-man show of a very big Shakespeare production. So I had loads of lights and sound and explosions and special effects. And of course the whole point of the Globe was that it would be as close as possible to the original Elizabethan theatre. So they didn't even have house lights at this point. So I don't think it would have worked out. But yeah, if you ever get there, Or, specifically if you want to know about that part of London, just drop me a line and a comment if you're coming over. You'll have to come on our London literary pub crawl. Yeah, there's a little commercial. So, talking of things London, let me see how I can get into this. I've actually ordered, there's 2 books in here. Let's try and do it without making too much noise. And I'd like to try and keep the paper, but I don't think that's going to happen to you. There's the little sticky. Oops. And this literally is a reveal. 2 books. This is the first one, which I thought I'd share with you. Particularly if you're a writer. Hoxton Mini Press, and their series of books are all called Opinionated Guides. And this is an opinionated guide to bookshops. And I quite like the sentiment behind this. It says here, why buy a book on Amazon? Sorry, corporate America. Why buy a book on Amazon when you can buy it on a barge? There is a bookshop on a barge. I've been there. London has every type of bookshop imaginable. Walk in and inhale the transportative smell of printed paper. Oh. Whether you're looking for a neighbourhood indie with perfect coffee or to get lost amongst antiquarian tomes, this unashamedly opinionated guide will tell you where to find your paper-filled piece. HoxtonMiniPress.com again. £10.95 I paid this. You can buy it in the US of A for $14.95. Bucks for $15. I do like Americans. I've actually got some family in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. But I just thought I'd have a quick look. And this other book that's in here is a bit kooky. So I'll show you that. And this lists, again, there's a map of London and all the bookshops that are listed in here. They also take some quite nice photographs as well. I'm sort of around West London, Kensington and Chelsea. And this sort of side, Hoxton Press is West London, East London, which is more over this side. That's South London, Lewisham. I worked there for a while, looking after children, actually. Something care people. So this is written by Sonia Barber and James Manning. And it's not sponsored, by the way. I bought this. I just thought I should mention that. And it gives a list of some of the bookshops. I'm trying to think of one or two of the weirder ones. Hatchard's is lovely, of course. In fact, I've got a couple of books over there from Hatchard's, which is a traditional old thing. Foyles used to have a great little restaurant upstairs on Shaftesbury Avenue. Gay's the word if you're gay. I'm not, but I thought it was I'm a straight man, but I thought I loved the fact that it was a sort of massively confident bookshop sometime, and quite a while ago, if you see what I'm trying to say. I thought they were great. They were trailblazers. What have we got? Stamford's, Treadwell's, obviously. I'm sure in Houseman's Book Bar, Word on the Water, Primrose Hill Books. Let me go. New Beacon, Stoke Newington, Donlan and Birdie Fisher Books, and then on the back flap, the Broadway Bookshops, Koenig Books. I think I've shared some of their books with you already. Brick Lane, of course, in East London was famous for its curries and Asian culture. Still make me feel very much at home. What else have we got? London Centre for Book Arts, Pages of Hackney, South London, Garreley Bookshop, obviously the National Theatre Bookshop, which is always worth a look. That was stupid when I go in there. Excuse me. Rye Books, John Sandow, Hurlingham Books, yeah. And the Notting Hill Bookshop. The Notting Hill Bookshop always gets a lot of attention because of, what was the film? Was it Love Actually? When Hugh Thingy-Bobby plays that sort of foppish bookshop owner. That bookshop wasn't actually a bookshop, I don't think. And it's not now, but there is a Notting Hill Bookshop, which we'll have a look at in a minute. In fact, should we go and have a look at it now? Yes, all right, okay. Gosh Comics. Yeah, okay, let's have a look at the Notting Hill Bookshop now. Page 61. Excuse me. Up to 33. I mean, look at that. Yeah. Fantastic, isn't it? What did I say? 61. Oh, Koenig Books, that's lovely as well. In Whitechapel. God, I'll never get there at this rate. Was that the Brick Lane? Oh yes, Brick Lane Bookshop. Not the biggest, but it's as it says they're a London-loving independent. There is something hugely organic and lovely, isn't there, about being in a real bookshop rather than taking the computer route. Although, of course, I ordered these online, but I ordered them from a proper bookshop, from a proper publisher. The South Bank book market's really good as well, actually. Let's just have a quick look at that, because it's al fresco. It's open every day, and this is the River Thames. If you can see, there's the bridge. What does I say? That's Embankment Tube Station over there. And you can walk over this bridge, which is always a fun thing to do. In fact, it tells you for 40 years. Excuse me. It's the emotion, loves. For 40 years, booksellers have laid out their wares on trestle tables by the Thames. The South Bank book market isn't as extensive or historic as the Parisian Bonquiste stalls that inspired it, but sheltered by an arch of Waterloo Bridge, it's well suited to British weather. This is true. It's Waterloo Bridge over here. The number of stalls peaks at 8 each weekend, when this stretch of embankment bustles with tourists, day-tripping families, and solo browsers. I think that would be me. Yeah, the solo browser. Political memoirs sit alongside graphic novels, Solzhenitsyn and Jackie Collins, travel guides, and Harry Potter, in conditions ranging from mint to moderately worn. This may not be the finest or best price selection in town, but the cosmopolitan experience of browsing by the riverside makes a visit essential. Queen's Walk, SE1, so the nearest station they're saying is Waterloo, although I tend to get off at Embankment, although that is the other side of the river, but literally just kind of here. You walk across the bridge and jump off. Anyway, that wasn't what we were looking for. Hurlingham Books. That's in Fulham High Street. Now, come on, because I want to show you these other. That's a lovely picture as well, isn't it? Oh, Foster's Books. I know Foster's Books very well because it's not far from where I live. Well, let's have a look at that, because give them a shout. They're Chiswick High Road, W4. The nearest station is Turnham Green. And there are loads of buses as well. This is West London, obviously. Hiding behind a Ladbrokes. It was also by a very good pub called the George IV, if you need one. It's virtually next door. Hiding behind a Ladbrokes, this charming time warp of a bookshop has been... I don't know what they mean by that. Anyway, not to worry. You'll see it on the high road. This charming time warp of a bookshop has been selling rare and out-of-print publications for over 50 years. Outside the striking bottle green 18th century shopfront are tables of second-hand wonders for as little as £2. Inside you'll find an old curiosity shop, filled floor to ceiling with first editions, antiquarian all sorts, and general miscellanea, from which readers can unearth stern instructions on 1950s etiquette. Yes, you can. Or dusty, jacketed collections of Christina Rossetti poems. It can be hard to spot the stuff behind the chaotic, overstuffed shelves of crumbling leather-bound books. That's true. But there is a method here. Everything is catalogued, so don't be afraid to ask for something specific, no matter how obscure it may seem. They are quite good. And I'd say that's Foster, but I'm not sure it is. I can't remember his name, and I shouldn't really mention him without getting his permission first. But yes, I used to spend quite a lot of time. That's not far from where I live. And then here we now go, the Notting Hill Bookshop. I still quite like the fact that the writer of Notting Hill and various other rom-coms I think he still lives in Notting Hill. He's got a couple of places now. But the Notting Hill Bookshop, a fictional film bookshop, come to life. So this wasn't, anyway, it'll tell you here. You may already be familiar with this literary treasure trove if you've seen the classic rom-com. The story goes that Notting Hill local Richard Curtis used to browse here, and the bright blue exterior and extensive travel section inspired the film's fictional bookshop. The store on screen is actually a film set. Sorry to let you down, as it wasn't possible to shoot inside the real Notting Hill bookshop, but this doesn't stop hordes of tourists and Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts fans from taking selfies outside. Either way, this place is worth a visit. Peruse the famous travel section, an excellent assortment of kids' titles and hampers full of pre-wraps, prize, blind date books. You see a few of those now, don't you? In case you feel like having your own unexpected love affair. It's on Blenheim Crescent, London WF11, nearest station. Yeah, tube station is Ladbroke Grove, and that's its site, thenottinghillbookshop.co.uk. So yes, I think it's got its own little blue plaque. I can't read what that says, but I'm sure it's something to do with Richard Curtis. And Richard did used to live in Notting Hill. In fact, I think he still does. His address is... No, don't worry. I couldn't remember it anyway. So that's a kind of cute little book, which I thought I'd share with you. A bit in the back about Hoxton Mini Press and how the contributors got together. But I wanted to, look at the time, I wanted to show you this though, because this was sort of, I bought this almost specifically and expressly to share with you. But this is the one which I'm quite looking forward to seeing because, as I think I've mentioned, writers tend to like notebooks. And this is a notebook, but notebook for bad ideas. The perfect notebook in which to risk imperfection. Lay flat plain pages from Hoxton again, Hoxton Mini Press. It also comes with some, I think anyway, I'll have a look at it with you in a sec. Have no fear of of perfection, you'll never reach it, said Salvador Dali. And apparently it opens extra flat. Excuse me. Okay, I'll go with that. Looks like it's got a, a thingy-bobby, material thing. You can get, yes it does, you can get lined versions, but I've recently, I don't know about you, in terms of, particularly if I'm sort of hot seating ideas, I prefer plain. I've gone into plain paper now. That might change again. But you also have a choice of colours. There's grey and blue, I think. And as I say, either plain or lined. So I just got this plain one. But I also quite like the idea that it comes with this. As I say, I've never seen this before. But I think it's quotes from famous writers. Yes. So I'll leave you with these pearls of wisdom, my love. You can only go forward by making mistakes, said Alexander McQueen. Nice one. George Bernard Shaw. When I was young, I observed that 9 out of 10 things I did were failures. So I did 10 times more work. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? I led a tour in Fitzrovia in central London. So it used to be called North Soho, just north of Oxford Street, for the London Festival of Architecture. I only did it last week. And it was very kind of them to ask me. I think I've got a reputation as being a bit of a Fitzrovia and Soho nut, an enthusiast, not nut. But it is interesting that George Bernard Shaw and actually Virginia Woolf lived in exactly the same place, not at the same time, of course, in Fitzroy Square, with one or two other famous people, who I won't mention now. But George Bernard Shaw was trying to write novels, and it wasn't until they all failed that he thought he'd try doing plays. Good call, George. Scott Adams, creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. Oh, that's nice. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. That's Albert Einstein, but that boy done good, didn't he? And then this is for Joe Rowling, of course. Failure is so important. We speak about success all the time. It is the ability to resist failure or use failure that often leads to greater success. I've met people who don't want to try for fear of failing. I I understand that, and J.K. Rowling, some contention about her at the moment, but she had a pretty tough ride whilst giving birth to Harry Potter. Whether you succeed or not is irrelevant. There is no such thing. Making your unknown known is the important thing. I quite like that as well. Georgia O'Keeffe. Winston Churchill, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. This is Thomas Edison. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. And of course, the one I've kept till last is Sylvia Plath. The worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt. I think we can all, writers can relate to that. All creatives, all artists. In fact, that's probably a fairly good mantra for all of life. But I hope you don't mind me sharing these with you. I kind of guess you won't, or else you'd have switched off a long time ago. And if you've been here all this time, thank you very much. And I've gone on a little bit longer than I intended to, but yes, I especially wanted to open these with you, and I hope you found it fairly relaxing at least. Thank you so much for some of the lovely comments I've had. It is very kind of you. As I say, we're going to hopefully keep growing, and if you've not subscribed, please press the little button which is around here somewhere. I've got my magical pen to reveal to you as well, which I'll perhaps do for next week. But in the meantime, thank you so much again for your support and just for being here. As I say, I hope you found it relaxing. I'll see you next time. And to quote, as always, Charles Dickens, bless us all, everyone. Thanks.